We're live here. What's Your Perspective radio show, LENSEC live. And I'm really excited about our topic today because I'm going to learn a lot about this and what we've learned through this LENSEC live is how to work remotely. All of us, everyone all over the world has in so many ways, especially we never would have thought this when COVID-19 hit. We didn't even have this on our radar. We weren't thinking about it. It was something that was just quite a shock. So I have guests today. I have Jeff Kellick, Chief Product Officer, and also Ed Reister, Director of Operations for LENSEC, and myself, Neil Haley, again, Inside Sales, and also host of What's Your Perspective radio show. And when I think about, the particulars of this, no one planned this. Online is something that lots of people, it's definitely a new normal for a lot of people. Zoom calls, all these different things that people weren't used to doing. They were always used to meeting face to face. But our company was really ready for this in so many ways because of Jeff kind of going into that, as our product was already ready for online and remote work. So it wasn't like we had to kind of retool and repurpose ourselves. We already had that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. When we talk about our application, Perspective VMS, one of the things that we've done really since the beginning, when we first launched our product, was we built it into the web browser. Our mindset was we didn't want to limit our customers to a specific machine. We didn't want to handcuff them to a desk to be able to view their security. We wanted to give them the flexibility of being able to see their security, see their facilities, see the security of their overall facilities from wherever they were. If they need to respond from the library, from the cafeteria, from the workshop floor, wherever they were, they'd be able to log in and view their security. That really adapted well to this type of environment, because now as people are working from complete remote offices, their home office, a place they're not familiar with, again, all they have to do is open up their PC, open up a browser. It does not have to be their work PC. It does not have to be their work computer. They don't even have to tunnel in, as long as they've got accessibility. And of course, it's password protected, it's credential protected. Right. So they log in with their credentials and they're able to see their facility from, again, wherever they are. It's really helped a lot of those security personnel that normally would be sitting inside of maybe a security operations center, right, a SOC, and now they're trying to do their job independently all over their town or all over their community, wherever their houses are. So yeah, by its nature, Perspective VMS allows users to kind of adapt well to this forced remote work environment.
It definitely does, Jeff, and it's something that we look at in so many ways that people, especially in our industry, as I said, the face-to-face interaction, this has been like a breath of fresh air to know. We've heard stories from our RSMs and different people that they love the ability to get to see our solution in a remote demo or get new trainings or different things from it.
Yeah, that's right. And so not only the ability to actually see your live solution, your live facility, but to be able to learn about it, be able to kind of demonstrate it, hear from our sales team, new partners that are looking at it, new customers that are looking to evolve their solution can get live demonstrations from our application from wherever they are.
Now, Ed, thinking about this, how did you see this once the shutdown happened, the aspect of more support calls and also certain questions regarding our solution from on-site?
I would have to say this has been a really unique situation, as everybody else has. One of the things that has really helped us is being close to the coast and having experienced hurricanes and events that have mandated or created environments where we had to work remotely. We've been in position to handle this type of scenario, though it's normally a regional type of event. In this case, it's global. Our volume has actually been reduced about 60%, I say 60%, about 50% of our call volume, because so many of our users are remote or at a stay-at-home order. So we don't have the number of eyes that are looking at the system, making phone calls, calling in. But we also have seen a greater demand for our system and its functioning adequately during this period of time. One of the things is, Jeff had mentioned the administrators and business owners being more diligent about using the system remotely, where a lot of times they use it more in-house. They don't use the same level of scrutiny that they are doing now, which has identified gaps in their system. They want to see more, they want to have more coverage. They want to have, larger storage capacity. So though we've seen a reduction in our call volume, the demand for our system and our support has actually increased because of the way people are starting to use our system now.
So Ed, they're seeing the value. They're seeing the value of what we bring to the table and the fact of support and the ability to fix problems when they do occur, and also learning more about what we can do because of it, of everyone being remote, it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that has been crucial during this period of time, since we don't have those end users, monitoring the system and viewing the system on a regular basis, they are relying on us and our remote monitoring, which is part of our system, to identify those issues as they come up, in which our team is equipped to work with the partners to help resolve those, in most cases remotely. In some cases, it does require some on-site support, in which the partner will work with the end customer to provide that service. But our remote support or our remote monitoring has really been critical during this period of time, since the limited number of eyes looking and viewing the system.
Yes, that number of eyes is important. Now, when it comes to product development, talking to our chief product officer, what are you seeing based on COVID-19 and what trends and where we're going?
Yeah, we're looking at this very closely because, we've always said to our partners, we said to our customers, we're an agile organization. We learn from what your problems are and what we need to solve, what the application should do to help you. And this is, in that regard, this isn't any different. It's just a new set of circumstances. And that's been very interesting to us from a product development standpoint. How can we further evolve Perspective now to help with the majority of the workforce remote? And what does that mean that's different? What are some of the features that are there already that make a lot of sense to these customers? And so the first thing that I think we've seen is that there's features, there's functions within the software that maybe weren't used as much, but now when people are working remotely, they definitely rely on those. I think one of the biggest feature sets is the maps feature. I know we have some enterprise customers worldwide that really never utilized maps beforehand, but now that they're working remotely, now they're not at the facility, they realize how valuable it is to see that floor plan and just be able to hover over camera to camera or drag that and put that in the camera dock, and now see that, again, the camera views juxtaposed with where the assets are on the floor plan. And to Ed's point earlier, that also then leaves them to think, boy, I've got some gaps in coverage. I've got to add a few more cameras here to really pick up on that entire environment. So maps aren't new, but I think they're being utilized more. I couldn't have a segment without talking about my favorite feature, global search. And I think that that's also being leveraged too. As people are remote, they want to quickly find something. We talked about in previous live streams the FedEx guy comes to the door, the UPS guy comes to the door, and you've got to be able to let them in quickly. You're remote, you're not at the office, but they've got to be able to drop something in your lobby. So you quickly bring up that lobby camera. You open up global search, you just type in lobby, and it brings it right up, and you're able to unlock that door for that person to come in. So some of those features that we've already had are just being taken advantage of a little bit more. We're also getting some requests for some new type of remote administration. And this is something that we're looking into developing within version 4, which we're at version 4.1.1 now. For the technocrats out there that want to know specifically what version we're at, where we're getting ready to, or in my East Texan voice, we're fixing to release version 4.2 this month. And so in this process of our version 4X, we'll do a couple more things. And one of those areas is in remote administration. We've seen kind of an uptick in administration delegation, maybe asking some different resources to do some of the administrative tasks inside of Perspective. And so there's been a want to kind of look to a further separation of powers or duties within inside the administration module. And so we're looking to enhance some of our permission sets a little bit more, refine those a little bit more based on these circumstances. Another thing that we've seen as a result that we're looking to further evolution of is through our integrations. So we integrate with a lot of different providers, and being able to send that video data through our SDK in a couple of different ways, we're increasing that evolution too. So we like to receive events. That's the primary way we do integration. We receive those events, but we have requests from different analytic providers too, to be able to send data streams out. And so increasing that capability, because we're working with a lot of different subsystems in this environment. And so with more and more analytic reliance, whether it's cloud-based analytics or just another provider, we want to work in combination with those. So those are a couple of things that we're seeing. And I should also mention that if there are other ideas to people that are watching us either live or on the recorded stream thereafter, if you have other feature requests, other ideas, please don't be shy. Let us know. Let us know what you're experiencing, because that again will feed and will drive our product development over the next couple of months.
And because of the new normal, we're going to be looking at, as I talked about last week on the show, that we're going to see a lot of different situations when people are going from remote back to work, and how it's important a solution like this to be able to figure these things out and see, well, what coverage do I need? And if we're going to consider working remotely all together, then we're going to need more coverage. We're going to need specific things, and people are going to find that out very soon in many different industries. It's just, again, a wait and see attitude to see what happens. And that, but again, that's what makes it so great. As you said, people have ideas of design ideas, send it to LENSEC, right? And then go to lensec.com, send that information out, and we'll look and consider developing that part of the product. That's what's the agility part that really makes it awesome, is that we can do it for you if you want it. And if it's a great idea, especially with these times, let us know. Speaking of going and transitioning over from that product development to training, our solution, as I'll say 100 times, is very easy to use. But if we can train other people to show them how easy it is to use, because any software becomes very difficult at first when people look at it. But Ed, we have different ways of training people now, right? Remotely.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm really the most excited about. We have really focused the last year, I would say, on our remote training, our online training academy, putting the program together, getting the curriculum put together, and this now with everyone, with a stay-at-home order, a lot of people, have a little bit of extra time. We're encouraging and emphasizing the need to go through our online training, see how easy our software is, to navigate and to use. And we've really seen, an uptick in that area. In addition to that, we will be tomorrow hosting our first live online training, which we've got a full class already signed up. And this will be a global, audience, where in the past we've been really restricted to, a regional Houston, in office type training. Now we can be more expansive, if you use that word, in our coverage of training. And that's one of the areas that we're really excited about. And now we can start, as we develop this type of training curriculum, we can start, tweaking it for regional based, or different global needs.
And that's huge, because you have to be able to do that in some sort of way to provide that, because training is such an important thing to understand anything. When I try to learn things all the time, I want to go through specific trainings and figure it out. But if you have a really good system that you could choose anytime to go online in our online academy and take care of things, or get to be in a class setting where you don't have to travel and you could go and ask the proctor, whoever is instructing the training, all the information, and be able to collaborate with everyone in the group, it's fantastic. And that's part of that new normal ways. And Jeff, kind of jumping back to the final thing, is we talked about our product development. But what do you see trends in security now? Again, you've been in the security industry for many years and you've been involved in product development for so long. Where do you see things going? I think that conversation's just not coming out enough yet. Where's security? Do you see security in the 21st century in so many ways because of COVID-19?
Yeah, this is certainly an inflection point in many industries, and security is no different. I think one of the areas we just talked about, training and learning the product remotely, and I too am excited about that. I can't wait for the online academy is great. Having the instructor-led training that Sonia is going to lead tomorrow is fantastic. So that's one of the areas of learning. But in the security industry itself, the first thing I'll talk about is retention rate. Most end users, depending on your industry, it's going to vary, but there'll be somewhere between 7 days retention and 30 days retention of your video storage, of your archives. I think we're going to see that increase. I think we're going to see that increase for a number of reasons. Part of it has to do with underlying factors. Storage itself is getting cheaper. It always does. It kind of follows that trend. But at the same time, so does megapixel cameras continue to evolve. So there's a little bit of a balancing act there. But when you're trying to track information, where you're trying to see where exposure was, we gave the example a couple of weeks ago about understanding that, hey, there was a potential infected person over here. So where's all the risk factors then? Where are all the other people that may be at risk, that may have come in contact with that area? So they'll kind of expand their retention rate. If they were at 7 days, maybe they'll go to 14 days because that's a prescribed incubation period, or maybe they'll go to 30 days. We've even seen, somewhat irrelated, but of the same time period, we've seen some changes in Title IX in the education space. The Title IX laws are a big deal. And we've seen them now start to look to 6 months retention. So I think one of the things we're seeing in the 21st century, or this decade now, is we're seeing more move to retention. Another area is monitoring or watching from a regulatory standpoint. Again, depending on your industry, if you're a public entity, maybe a government entity or a public school or a courthouse, any place that serves people that are brought in that's served by the public, you're going to have a different set of regulations that you're going to want to adhere to, and that you're going to be able to illustrate or demonstrate that you've maintained to your best of your ability. Even so, on the private side, private industries will set their own policies. And it's important to understand that your policies of what you're teaching are kind of being met to your goals. And video surveillance is a way to do that, whether it's social distancing or PPE enforcement. if you're looking at ways in which you want to enact your prescribed policy,
Right.
video surveillance is a good way to do that. So we've seen that obviously pick up quite a bit, and that's been talked a lot, whether it's again, for watching video analytics that you're using, or whether it's a little bit more controversial type stuff. Video surveillance is a tool that people are using for that. Thermal detection is another area.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen that pick up. That's more on the camera side, but it's a device. And, whether it's a device with an input on a video analytic, or whether it's some other form of thermal detection, being able to see that temperature change allows people to have more information to make decisions, whether that's, setting aside different staff, or whether that's, asking for another type of qualifier that just serves a point of information.
And you have more? I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's fine. The only other thing I was going to say, just as kind of we're on that topic, was the markets. We talk about the security market in general, but what are the other types of customers that maybe will use security more that haven't in the past? And we've seen from research, retail. Retail's had security. Obviously, loss prevention has been a big deal in retail for a long time, but loss prevention typically focused maybe on the cash register or on the entrance and exits. I think you'll see more camera coverage throughout a retail facility now. I think, again, people are remote. They're really studying. We talked about this a few times. They're really studying where those gaps are. So I think we'll see more coverage in retail and office space. Office space, we talk in security a lot. It's about protection of property and loss prevention and those areas. But one of the major focuses from any security director is safety of their personnel, safety of their staff. And when you look at an office space, you may not traditionally have thought of your employees as a vulnerability point. So you focused again on entrances, exits, maybe where there were some hazardous equipment, processing equipment, conveyor belts, those types of things. That's where you focus your surveillance on. Now you may be looking more at the office space in general for the safety of your staff. And so we've seen that kind of uptick a little bit in the overall surveillance requirements.
And I think that a lot of people that just do not use video management software are going to really consider using it now. The ones that just use the free software, or, just run with cameras and say, I can just handle it by just being at the office or at work or somewhere. Now, with really having to monitor it 24/7 and go back and check out different footage and different things, this is really going to be a big growth, I think, in video management software in the next couple of years, for sure. More and more people using it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Neil. It really is. Video management software is more than just about viewing a camera. It's about having all of your camera inputs into a centralized place, regardless of where they are. You could have sites all over the country, all over the world, being able to manage those in one interface, and not just the video, but the correlative data, whether that's video analytic data, whether that's IP serial data that's coming in from different devices, temperature sensors, door sense monitors, request to exits, access control systems, being able to bring all of that data in and make decisions. One of the things we've talked about in past is our workflows, the if this and that type of logic, and that adds automation to it. These are things that a video management system does. It takes video data, it takes other contextual data, and allows you to make automation decisions, as well as informing the people that need to be informed from a policy and procedural standpoint.
Right. All right. And the best place we can find information is at lensec.com. And if you have questions on the product, it can easily answer those quickly for you, and about pricing and different things. And tune into LENSEC Live anytime at lensec.com/live, or on Facebook or YouTube. And Jeff, anything else to add?
No, I just really thank the people that are watching. I thank Ed Rice, our Director of Operations. Thank you, Neil. You've been doing a wonderful job hosting the past couple of weeks. We love it. We'll keep it up and look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Awesome. Okay, so that was an awesome LENSEC Live / What's Your Perspective radio show. So take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.